Now it's time to implement the interface iBrainTree gate. So in solution inside BrainTree, let's add a class to implement that. And we will call this as BrainTree gate. If I wanted, I could have called this class BrainTree gateway, but that would conflict with the BrainTree gateway that is there inside the BrainTree using or the NuGet package. I'll make sure I'll add the tree with a double E, and yes, that looks good. Great. Now here this should inherit or implement the iBrainTree gate. Do not use the iBrainTree gateway because that is inside the BrainTree using statement. We'll hover here and implement the interface. When we have to create a gateway to perform any transaction for BrainTree, we need the BrainTree settings, which has all of the keys and ID. So how do we use that? We can use that using dependency injection like we did with MailJet. So we'll do public BrainTree settings, and let me call this as options. We'll have the getter and setter. Then inside the constructor, we will be getting that using iOptions on the BrainTree settings. We can call this as options, and we'll say options is equal to options.value. We'll name this as _options to be consistent. Then here you see the return type is BrainTree gateway. We need to create that gateway and return that back. So in order to do that, right here, let me also add a private variable iBrainTree gateway. It should be gateway, and we'll call this as BrainTree gateway, getter and setter. In here, the T should be lowercase as well as the W. There we go. This is looking good. It's the interface inside the BrainTree NuGet package. So what we will do inside the create gateway is we will return new, and we'll create a new BrainTree gateway. Here we need to pass few of the options to configure this. If you go in the constructor, you will see that we have one with an overload for environment, merchant ID, public key and private key. We have that inside the _options. So first is the environment, then _options.merchant ID, _options.public key, and _options.private key. We'll use this overload to create a new gateway for BrainTree transaction, and we will return back on create gateway. Then when we get on the retrieval of the gateway, we will check here if BrainTree gateway, if that is null or not. If this is null, we will be creating a new gateway and we can return that. So BrainTree gateway is equal to create gateway, and we'll return that. Else we will just return back the BrainTree gateway that exists. So in this class, all we are doing is we are just adding a new BrainTree gateway, and we are returning it back using all of the settings that we have inside our appsettings.json file. So with this, our configuration for BrainTree is complete. But there is one crucial piece that remains, and that is we have to register everything in startup.cs. Inside the BrainTree gate class, we are using iOptions for BrainTree settings, but we have not added that in the DI container to extract it using constructor. So right here, we first need to configure that service. So services.configure, and we'll be configuring BrainTree settings. And in there, we have to define the configuration.get section. Now this section name that we have inside here must match exactly as the section name right here. So we'll copy that and we'll have to paste it here. This way we are adding this section and all of the settings inside this particular class. So in this class, if the variable names here match exactly, it will automatically populate them and we'll be able to retrieve them using dependency injection in the constructor and use it in the class. We did this with MailJet, but I wanted to walk you through them once again. Once we add the BrainTree settings, next what we want is to register the interface for gateway. So services.addSingleton. In here we want to register the iBrainTree gate and the implementation is BrainTree gate. Perfect. So with this we have added that in dependency injection container. Now the method that we used here with getSection is another way of using what we have in appsettings.json. What we did with MailJet settings is if we go to appsettings.json, we had that here as well. But in that case, we did not register the MailJet settings in startup.cs. What we did was if we go inside the utility, we have email sender. In here, we use dependency injection to retrieve the complete configuration. On that configuration, what we did is we added the getSection method and we added the class name right here, and then within MailJet settings we were accessing the values. We can do that inside the class as well, but a more cleaner approach is doing that inside startup.cs. We are doing the exact same things. We are doing on the services, we are calling the configure, we are passing the class name. In here we have the getSection with the section name. The reason you should do it in startup.cs is it should be one place where you are registering everything inside the container. Here if you do inside email sender, it is adding more overhead inside the class file, which should be taken care of inside startup.cs. I wanted to show you both the ways, but the more cleaner way is to do that in startup.cs class file. That being said, our registration of BrainTree inside our project is complete and we are ready to test some transactions in the next video.